श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्योत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So we're reading from Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 33. So I'll just chant this. Tasyaha yaha purisha surabhi saugandhyavayus tam desham dashayojanam samantat surabhim chakara. Please repeat the word to word meaning. Tasya is, ha indeed, yaha which, purisha of the stool, surabhi by the aroma, saugandhya possessing a good fragrance, vayuhu the air, tam that, desham country, dasha up to 10, yojanam yojanas, one yojana equals 8 miles, samantat all around, surabhim aromatic, chakara made. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Because Lord Rishabdev remained in that condition, the public did not disturb him. But no bad aroma emanated from his stool and urine. Quite the contrary, his stool and urine were so aromatic that they filled 18 miles of the countryside with a pleasant fragrance. Purport. From this, we can certainly assume that Lord Rishabdev was transcendently blissful. His stool and urine were so completely different from material stool and urine that they were aromatic. Even in the material world, cow dung is accepted as purified and antiseptic. A person can keep stacks of cow dung in one place and it will not create a bad odor to disturb anyone. We can take it for granted that in the spiritual world, stool and urine are also pleasantly scented. Indeed, the entire atmosphere became very pleasant due to Lord Rishabdev's stool and urine. Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guraho Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dhalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Bhayate Girim Yat Kripatam Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hare Krishna. So here Rishabdev's pastime, we are seeing. I think after a long time we have this Bhagavatam class. I was seeing on the YouTube, it was after I think 2 weeks we have this daily Bhagavatam class. So Rishabdev gave teachings to his sons. How many sons were there? 100 sons. Eldest one was Bharat. It is so nice that the Lord and his devotee appears in the same family. He gave all the teachings. Those are verses from shloka number 1 to shloka number 27. And after that, after teaching and preaching, one has to practice also to set an example. Now Rishabdev is setting an example of whatever he has spoken. He is setting an example of renunciation. These shlokas from 1 to 27 are speaking a lot about renunciation and setting example, leadership, etc. So now Rishabdev is specially highlighting by his own example what exactly is meant by renunciation. So here it is said, Tasyaha yaha purisha surabhi saugandhya. His stool and urine were so aromatic. So I think today's class will be on stool and urine. And then it is said that Vayuhu tam desham dasha yojanam samantat surabhim chakara. So Vayuhu tam desham dasha yojanam. Tam desham, in that place, how much space that is? Dasha yojanam, 10 yojanas. 1 yojana is 8 miles. So Prabhupada writes 80 miles. Samantat, around that area, surabhim chakara. It made the entire area aromatic. So stool and urine of the Lord making the entire area aromatic. The first 2 lines of translation says, because Lord Rishabdev remained in that condition, the public did not disturb him, but no bad aroma emanated from his stool and urine. So what condition is spoken here? Rishabdev would pass stool and urine and just be there on that, roll on that. So in that condition, no common public would come to disturb him. Who will come to disturb such a person? So if you all also want to not get disturbed, we have some tips from Rishabdev we can implement. So here is a very important thing to note, that how God himself is doing some pastime. I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture on this. So Prabhupada says, if you want to test someone as God, ask him to pass stool and then check if it is aromatic. Then we can accept that he is God. So Prabhupada is very practical. Very practical. In one of the pastime, if I clearly remember, I'm not remembering the details. So they had gone to some program where Prabhupada was there and Prabhupada's disciples were there and a Mayavadi was speaking. And then one of the disciples got up and then he loudly shouted that you and the stool both are same, both are Brahman. And when they spoke to Mayavadi, got offended. A lot of discussion happened, not discussion, fight. And then that Mayavadi complained to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, see, my disciples are, they're new, so please forgive them. They don't understand. And after that person left, so Prabhupada was appreciating. What an example you, what was that graphic example? And then Prabhupada was very happy. Description of stool with Mayavadi. Now let's come to the shloka. So basically, see, in spiritual life, we understand Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojan. So this particular shloka will help us to understand Sambandha or the position of the Lord. So let's go a bit technical. So now Lord's spiritual form, as all of us know from Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, shloka number 1. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So very clearly it is said, how is Lord's form? It's fully spiritual, Chit Ghan, completely spiritual. It's not like from the maybe top is spiritual, maybe bottom is not. Maybe outside is spiritual, inside is not. No, it's not like that. Completely spiritual. And Prabhupada gives the example of a sugar candy. So sugar candy, you bite from anywhere, it will be sweet. Inside, outside, left, right, center, wherever it is, it will be sweet. Similarly, Lord is completely spiritual, inside, outside, everywhere. There is nothing called as inside of the Lord and outside of the Lord. It's all spiritual, Prabhupada says. So Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat is eternal, Chit is full of knowledge, and Ananda is full of bliss. Some people say that Lord has no defects. And one Acharya comments, he has. What is that? Even if he wants to become sad, he cannot. Because he is Satchidananda, Ananda, full of Ananda. Even if he wants to become pauper, he cannot. Because he is Lakshmipati. Even if he wants to become ignorant, he cannot. Because he is Chidghan. Because he is completely full of knowledge. So in this way we understand that Lord's form is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. There is no doubt about this particular thing. And Prabhupada also says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, shloka number 9, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. So here Prabhupada says divyam. I have heard many times. Prabhupada says divyam. So how is Lord's form? Is divya. How are Lord's activities? Divya. Divya means transcendental. That is transcendental. So Lord's form is transcendental, Lord's activities are transcendental, even Lord's appearance is transcendental. So let's understand, here Lord is manifesting stool, a gross substance according to our understanding of this world. So in Lord's pastimes we see at various places, he manifests various different things which are supposed to be gross. Like for example, taking birth. Now, it's but for sure that Lord entered the womb of Devaki. Because when he was in the womb, what is the proof for that? What is the proof that Lord entered the womb of Devaki? She had the effulgence and many demigods were coming. See, these Devi Devtas can understand, no? What is happening and who is there in the womb and things like that. When Kayadu was pulled by Indra, at that time Narada Muni comes there and says, "Arey, हाथ मत लगा. पेट में बच्चा normal नहीं है ये, extraordinary है. He's a great devotee." And then that's how Narada Muni could see that. Similarly, these great personalities would see, oh, our Lord is there. But Lord never manifested through the narrow passage the way we have appeared, crying. Lord appeared full, 400 feature, Shank, Chakra, Gada, Padma. With Vaijayanti, Mala, Kaustubhajam, everything as it is described in Shastra. So, taking birth is a gross thing, but then when it comes to Lord, it's divya, it's transcendental. He has his own style of doing things. And then he appeared in front of his devotees, and devotees are like begging, you become small, we want to protect you. And then he becomes small, 200. And then we see in the pastime, Bhishma Dev is shooting arrows at the Lord. At the time of death. See, these devotees are so fortunate. They had the reciprocation from the Lord, and now at the time of death, he's just thinking about that. I love that Bhishma Dev's meditation on Krishna, that section in chapter number 9 of first canto, where he's meditating, completely meditating, and he's saying how wonderful that scene was when Krishna jumped from the chariot, picked up the wheel, and he was running towards me with great anger. And at that time, his upper garment fell, and his hair were ashen because of the dust coming from the hoofs of the horses. It's almost like gopis meditating on the form of the Lord. Therefore, Prabhupada says, why only people are interested in Rasa Leela with gopis? Here there is Rasa Leela with Bhishma. What is Rasa Leela? It's exchange of rasa, no? There is exchange of rasa here also. Why people don't speak about this? So here we understand, in this particular thing, pastime, what happened? There's a nice shloka, 38th shloka from 9th chapter, first canto. He says, Shita Vishika Hato Vishirna Damshaha. So he's saying Shita Vishika, the sharp arrows, Hataha, wounded by, and Vishirna Damshaha, and Shataja Paripluta Atatainaha. So the sharp arrows from Bhishma Dev's bow, it hit the Lord. And that hitting, one devotee was recently asking me, I think FOE or someone, for the spiritual world, how are the bodies? If you put hand, does it go arpar? Nice question it was. Actually, I also started thinking, kya hota hoga? So here, when Bhishma Dev is shooting arrow, it is not going arpar. Yes. So when Bhishma Dev is shooting arrow, it is described that it was hitting Krishna, and the blood was coming out from the wound. And it is described that his entire body, is the word? Paripluta, smeared with blood, entire body, is completely filled with blood. Now there might be a question, hey, Sachidananda? Hey, blood? It's not matching. Krishna manifests blood. This is a very important thing to note. And his blood is also divya, to such an extent that Bhishma Dev in his meditation is saying, Lord was looking so beautiful with the drops of blood on his body, which was caused by my sharp arrows. You can read that section where he says this. He's meditating. And then he says, you're looking so beautiful. So in this way we understand that how Lord manifests blood. Can you tell me one more place where Lord manifested blood? Yes. I don't know why Lord was cutting fruits. He was cutting and then there was a cut and the blood oozed out from his finger and his devotee came running, Draupadi, and immediately she did what? Yes, she tore her sari and she tied and then the blood stopped. Blood manifested. Which other place? Nityanand Prabhu, Madhai, he took the pot and then he hit and then there's blood. अब वो कितना ही मारा रहेगा ना, I was just thinking कितना बड़ा wound रहेगा वो. But then it is described that Nityananda's entire body was filled with blood when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw him. And the entire goal of that blood coming out of his Sachidananda Vigraha body was just to attract Chaitanya in front of Jagai and Madhai, which would be very impossible otherwise. You see? So he manifested, that's what Acharya is writing, he manifested blood. Now, say someone says, no, ये तो झूठ है. I don't think he manifested actually blood आया. Then what about the other pastimes? When Kalya is kissing Krishna, Acharya says he is kissing, but it is very clearly seen that he was biting. But he was kissing for Krishna because he is Krishna. Now when he was biting, there was no wound on the body. When Bhishma Dev is shooting arrow, there is a wound. When the big serpent is actually biting, there is no wound. And then when Jarasandha came 18th time to fight or to conquer Mathura, at that time it is described that he got 25 Akshamunis. It's a huge number, 25 Akshamunis is huge. How many Akshamunis were there in the entire Mahabharata battle? 11 plus 7, 18 Akshamunis. Here he got 25 Akshamunis of demons. Now Krishna saw that and he said, Abhi 17 बार हराया इसको बेशरम फिर से आ गया है. He just left that place and I'm not going to fight. He and Balram, they started walking fast. And these people are telling, Arey, You're running away from the battlefield. What sort of Kshatriya you are? This and that. And he also started following them. And they started running after that. Running. And they finally, it is described that they were so tired to relax, they climbed a mountain. And the mountain height was just 88 miles. They went up. And now when they went up, Jarasandha couldn't find them. So he set the entire mountain, surrounding the mountain, fire. Now the entire mountain was burning. It's described at that time, Krishna and Balram, they did a long jump practice. They jumped from the mountain. You have seen that photo? There's gliding or skidding, whatever you call it as, full style. Now just tell me, 88 miles ऐसे ऊपर से उधर कोई jump करेगा. Firstly, there is no question of survival. Secondly, even if the person survived, there should be some fractures on the body. But what happened to Krishna? Nothing. So here we can easily understand on different pastimes, only when he wants, he will manifest. Otherwise, he will not. This is a very, very important thing to note. Only when he wants, he will manifest the gross substance, seemingly gross, which is spiritual. Only when he wants. Otherwise, he will not. And it's described, so here, it is not a very big thing that Rishabdev is passing stool. Now, for your information, when we go above this planet, above the Earth planet, we have got other planetary systems. Swarg, this Bhu, Bhuvar, Swarg, and then Maharlok, Janalok, Tapalok, and Brahmalok. So it is described that as and when we go above this planet, higher and higher till Brahmalok, the body becomes more subtler and subtler. Now, when the body is becoming more subtle and subtle, the activities are also changing. So there is nothing called as birth, old age, disease, and death in Swargalok. Now it is described that if suppose someone becomes eligible to go to Swarga, now especially devotees are very much eligible to go to Swarga if they don't attain Krishna. Because full life they avoided the sinful activities, they have done pious activities also. They lived a very holistic life, very nice life. So it is described that if you don't attain Krishna, we'll end up in Swarga. Acha hai na? Very nice. So in Swarga it is described, suppose someone has to appear there. So yahan, it's almost like the person dies here and there the person appears. There is no happy birthday to you there. There is no birth, small baby, big, no. He just appears there. And then he will live his entire life. I think Riksha was describing the garland and all that. So when the garland becomes dry, the person realizes, oh, time to come. And then the person disappears. And then he appears or takes birth in this world. So I was hearing, they don't eat food like we eat, like gross way. They drink juices, it seems. They have somras, they have amrit and this and that, whatever. And then it is described they don't pass stool at all. Now if in Swargalok people don't pass stool and urine, where is the question of Supreme Personality of Godhead passing stool and urine? Again a proof for all of us to analyze. So if this is the case, then how come Rishabdev, Lord himself is passing stool? Same thing. When Lord wants, he will manifest. It is described in Krishna Leela also that when Lord would go to steal butter, and these gopis, they would want to have nice pastime and tease Krishna. So they will hide butter in such a way that he will not be able to find at all. Who is not able to find? Antaryami. He is not able to find in that particular house where is butter. And in every particle of butter is there as Paramatma. This is the pastime of the Lord. This is the Yogamaya Shakti, Yogamaya potency, which helps or which covers the Lord transcendentally so that he can enjoy his transcendental pastimes. Now, in that place when all that was done, so sometimes Krishna would get angry and he will pinch the babies and make them cry. And he will tell, today I have pinched, next time I'll murder. And then at times he will become so angry that the place which is clean for puja, he'll go and pass stool and urine there. One Acharya, he says that no, Krishna doesn't pass stool and urine. He gets stool and urine from outside with a stick. Because the Acharyas cannot digest. How can Krishna pass stool urine? So they are saying the commentary that he gets with whatever paper or whatever of some cat or whatever, they place it there in that puja area. So Doesn't matter. Krishna passing stool or cat passing stool in Vrindavan is a big thing. Is Vrindavan spiritual? Every living entity is spiritual. Where is the question of stool? So again, when he wants, he will manifest. And here Prabhupada says, what is the big thing of Lord's stool being fragrant? It has to be. And Prabhupada gives the example of cow dung. He says that cow dung in this world is so pure. So at least when we were very small, I'm sure all of you might have also seen in your villages, the entire house is smeared with cow dung. In some of the houses I had seen of my relatives, smeared. And then on special occasions, they'll smear their entire front of the house, the angan, with the cow dung. And they'll put rangoli on that. And it will be fragrant, it will be nice. It will be nice. And they'll stack the cow dung at one place. And it's very nice. And cow dung is so pure to such an extent that panchagavya, which consists of cow urine, cow dung, then milk, ghee, and yogurt. So these 5 items are poured on the Lord for Mahabhishek. So cow dung is also there in that. So it's so pure and so fragrant. And people will not get disturbed, when the cow dung is there besides. Right? So when we go to goshalas, we are not disturbed. Cow dung is there everywhere, and sometimes we cut the cake also. Cow dung is there and we cut the cake. So it is described that if you cut any other cake, you have to take bath. But cow dung, it's pure. There is no problem with that. So if cow dung can be fragrant, or it can be pure, then I don't think there is any doubt. Prabhupada says there is no doubt that Lord's stool was fragrant. And then Prabhupada also writes that in the spiritual world, what is the statement? We can take it for granted that in the spiritual world, stool and urine are also pleasantly scented. Nice, no? Here we use other liquids, deodorant and this and that to make the body scented, which is so obnoxious. And here, the stool and urine are scented. We can maybe import that and apply on the body, being fragrant. And in this way we understand about the Lord. Lord's stool and urine being fragrant. So till now this is establishing that how Lord's stool and urine is fragrant. Now, by the way, this is Sambandha Gyan to understand that what is the position of the Lord, how he is Sachidananda, he can do whatever he wants, he will manifest whatever, whenever he wants. He is Swarat, he is independent. And he is not bound by 3 modes of material nature in any ways. And he is not bound by Pancha Mahabhuta in any ways. He is completely spiritual. This understanding is very, very important. Therefore it is said, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punar janma naiti. Now when someone hears this shloka for the first time, as a newcomer, hey, itna hi, Janma karma chame divyam. You just understand this much. That Lord's birth and Lord's activities are divya. Oh, I understood. So now, what's next? Oh, you'll go to spiritual world then. It's not that easy. Lord is bewildering people by his pastimes like this. And people have to think twice. But those people who have got strong faith on the Lord and who have realized the glory of the Lord and his spiritual existence, they are the ones who can appreciate even this as spiritual. And our Lord is so teda that he does so many different activities, which will put the person into illusion or into doubt. Like Krishna disappearing from this world. Now he leaves the body, it is described. He creates a body, he leaves the body. Now it is so difficult for a person to understand. Initially, my mentor, Amrendra Poo, initially he never told me about this pastime. I had asked him, how did Krishna disappear? He disappeared. Now somewhere I had heard about this, that Krishna, he created a body, he left the body. Then I asked him, no, but I heard somewhere that Krishna left the body. No, that's all bogus. Now after 4 or 5 years, another devotee asked me a question, same question. How did Krishna leave? Then he said, Prabhuji, but I have heard same question. Prabhuji, but I have heard that he created a body, left the body, and that's all bogus. And then the devotee came, so I was fool. No, I didn't read anything. He read, he got back with a reference from Bhagavatam. That's so and so verses. I got completely bewildered when I saw that. And then I asked Prabhuji, and then Prabhuji was telling, "Tu tabhi chota tha, isliye nahi bataya maine." Now you're big, so I can tell. Yes, this is correct. He created a body, left the body. Lord can do whatever he wants. What is so big about that? So people get bewildered completely. That, oh, Lord leaving the body and etc., whatever. Lord lying and Lord doing some mischief. And sometimes so there are some people who say, I actually believe in the Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. I don't believe this Krishna of Vrindavan. भगवान ऐसे कैसे हो सकते हैं? So in this way, Krishna does his pastime in such a way that it filters out easily non-devotees and devotees. And it easily filters out Mayavadis, who want to become Krishna. So this is a very important thing to note, that this jnana about the Lord is something which is very, very important. The tattva is very, very important. Therefore, it is a janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvatah. So tattva of Ishvara should be understood very clearly. And our sambandha with the Lord should be very clear. Then we'll be able to appreciate these different pastimes. Now, how to understand the Lord? How to get this tattva clear? So I was hearing this same verse, Prabhupada was giving a class, and he quoted the shloka. Atah Shri Krishna Namadhi na bhave grayam indriye sevo mukhehi jivhado swayam eva spuratyada. So Prabhupada said that sevon mukhehi jivhado, and he stressed on that point. He said, if you can do two activities properly, he said, if you can speak only about Krishna, and second, if you can have only Krishna Prasad, whatever you put in the mouth is Krishna Prasad, then he said, you will become perfect to understand Krishna. Only two activities, he says. And that's a fact. If you want to attain Krishna, these are two activities that one has to focus on. Especially the brahmacharis who are sitting here. It's a very important thing to note. See, we have an option to speak whatever we want. Yes? That these people are working, they don't have much option. They're forced to speak what others want. But the ones who are in the renounced order, we have to be very vigilant of this fact that what are we speaking? Because just by speaking about Krishna all the time, the lowest thing that a person can attain is called as Vak Siddhi. Vak Siddhi means whatever you speak will come true. Do it for 12 years and you will see whatever you speak will come true. So speaking about Krishna is something which we can practice and not get into unnecessary talks, prajalpas. Speaking about this world, how is it really important for us as renunciants? Why we should speak about people of this world? Okay, when we are giving class, when we compare, that's a different thing. The motive is altogether different. But when we are into prajalpa, where is the question of speaking anything that is material? Why can't we just focus on this aspect of Krishna consciousness and speak the topics of Krishna? Very, very important. We can actually self-introspect what are we speaking. Second is we have an option of having only prasad. Many times my Grihastha counselees, they ask me, when we go to our relatives' house, and when we go to marriages, because we have to go to marriages, there's no option. If we don't go, they'll not come to our kids' marriage. So, many complications there. So they will say that, so how to manage? Right. They say that we eat onion garlic, without onion garlic food. We tell them they cook and they give. Obviously, this is good, no doubt. Many Grihasthas, they follow this strictly. But the best is just having prasad. Just having prasad. And this option renunciants have. There is no question of renunciants being forced by someone who you should eat. No. Someone calls us, first thing, no one will call us for marriage. Yes, no one will call us by any ceremony. So recently some program was there, so my mother was telling, so what's the plan? Are you planning to come? I said no. Okay, no problem. Yes. Who would want a bald-headed person with saffron clothes entering some ceremony? It should be colorful, no? Colorful. So we have an option of having only prasad. Recently one base devotee was asking me that, Prabhuji, the colleagues are offering me sweets. Now what should I do with that? So it's very difficult, When I was also working, they would give sweets, and the people who come from Japan will get some chocolates, and then they'll give. Now in front of them, oh, so nice, thank you very much. And then I'll eat during lunch, put it in the dabba, and after going out, give it to some watchman. Now you see, there's so much of pressure that is there. And when all the people are there, managers and others, and everyone is eating and they get, abhi zyada nakhra to nahi kar sakte. Something the person has to take. The point that I'm trying to make is when it comes to the devotees who are in the ashram, there is full opportunity of having only Krishna Prasad. There is no question of eating anything else. I was so inspired in Tirupati festival. So Vraj Krishna Prabhu, so he was hungry. So some grapes were there. One devotee got grapes and he gave it to me. I gave it to him. So normally fruits means Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. That's what people do. That's what we do. So he removed some book where photo of the Lord was there. He went to some other place. He kept the photo and then washed the grapes, offered it with tulasi, and then he said, "Prabhu, now it's offered. You can eat." And I was feeling so ashamed. My superior is then offering and giving it to me as prasad. So I saw that sincerity, so much sincerity. Even the fruits, having fruits. This is something which we can try as renunciation. It's very important. That whatever we put in our mouth, it should be prasad. And if we do that, Prabhupada is saying will become perfect. And if we become perfect, in whatever sense it is, and if we realize Krishna, tell me, won't this be the greatest service to the society? Anyone who comes in touch with us, they will become Krishna conscious. And wherever we are, the entire atmosphere around will be Krishna conscious, completely Krishna conscious. So this is something which we have to practice every single day. And the devotees, other devotees also who are struggling in the material world for their own sustenance, no problem. We can try our best, whatever we can, because finally Krishna sees our bhava. That how much the devotee is struggling to follow the principles that is given in the Shastra. In the Shloka Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam, there Prabhupada, he stresses so much on this point that speak only about Krishna and don't speak anything else. Have only prasad, don't take anything else. So in this way, if you can practice rigidly as much as possible for devotees who are struggling outside and should be fully followed who are there inside. And when we do that, here Prabhupada says, we'll be able to understand or realize Krishna, or Krishna will reveal himself to us. Without this revelation, the sambandha cannot be clear. Obviously now theoretically at least it should be clear, but practically, that thing will get synced in our system only when that realization is there of what Krishna is or what his entire spiritual form is all about. With this, I'd like to pause here. If you have any questions, you can ask. Questions? Our byproduct, see, whatever spiritual activity we do, or the byproduct of that, will be pious also. Our behavior will be good. Someone will like that. Some things, we might do which people will like. They are happy. We get punya for that, material punya. The devotee gets both. But it's majorly the spiritual punya that is there, and Krishna is personally taking care of the person. But anyways, all that is different. Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, it says that how, when a devotee does not perfect his life, he goes to Swargaloka, enjoys that, then comes and takes birth in a rich family or a pious Brahmana family. Suchinam Srimatam Gehe. That particular shloka. So it is Suchinam or Srimatam. Suchinam means a pious person, Srimatam, an opulent person. So person takes birth. So devotee has full, opportunity to enjoy life properly, either in heaven or here in this material world. Like that. No, that's why there's no birth. अगर स्वर्ग में बर्थ डेथ नहीं है तो गोलोक में कहाँ से? Disappear. Yes. ऐसा इमेजिन कर सकते कि suppose we were a patch of grass, and then we disappeared from there, खाली हो गया वो जगह, अभी हम यहाँ हैं. वापस जाएंगे तो वापस उभर जाएगा वो जगह. Yes. Okay, please share your realizations. Everyone can share some points.
Hare Krishna. So this was a very nice point that Rishad Dev, after he preaching to his sons, so he was also following, so preaching and following. So that is very important that not that we only give the knowledge but we don't follow. So that doesn't work out. So Rishabh Dev, Lord himself is setting an example how to follow this, and this is very nice. And this the whole lecture was about the developing the sambandha gnan. So not that it is very easy to understand the Lord, but the tattva we have to understand, then only we can easily uh, render devotional service and we can go back home back to God. Or else we can't understand, imagine like especially this sloka talking about stool and urine. So materialistic people, they may think that they have devotion to the Lord, but when these kind of things comes, they may not able to understand. So they may imagine something else and they may conclude saying that no, these are all bogus, or these are all how can we believe it. So but there is a tattva behind it. When we understand and when we have that kind of relationship, understand that clearly, then only we can go back home back to God. Without having that full knowledge about the Lord, we may not enter into the Lord's abode. So we don't have access. So for that, this Sambandha Gnan is very important, and this sloka was very nicely talking about that. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question. Can we practice devotional service in the heavenly planets, Prabhuji?
Yeah, there are people practicing.
So from there you can. It's not like you have to come to this karma bhumi to.
But it's very difficult. Like for example, for us also, if you see, for example, we have a wonderful feast in front of us.
Mm.
So now to remember Krishna at that time is so difficult,
Mm.
right? Like, so much is there, and then just looking, ye bhi khana, ye bhi khana, ye bhi khana. I remember we had gone to ILS, it was 2019, and there on the day of Ekadashi, there were 30 items which were kept. Idli, dosa, and this and that, and rasgulla, 5, 6 types of sweets. And on the day of Ekadashi, we are thinking, okay, अभी ये खाना है, ये अभी वो खाने के लिए जगह नहीं है पेट में, थोड़ा जगह बना के फिर खाएंगे. I just imagine it's so difficult, here itself. This is nothing, it is described as nothing. When someone goes to heavenly planet, the person is completely allured and illusioned by the opulence there. So when so much of opulence is there, now here, a simple girl also can attract a boy here. There we can just imagine Rambha Chikmaka with that beautiful sound of ankle bells tinkling. The person is gone flat. It's very difficult to practice bhakti there, but yes, there are rishis, the Sapta rishis are there, they're practicing bhakti there. So there are a few like that.
Okay.
But heavenly planet is meant for enjoyment.
So
Bhakti and all
these devotees will be propagating Krishna consciousness there, right, Prabhuji?
because it is described that Bhagavatam, Mahabharata and all exist there also.
Uh,
So here the Ramayana is 24,000 verses, there is 1 lakh verses.
okay.
So Bhagavatam also same. Here 18,000 verses, there also 1 lakh plus verses. So there are people who are reading, there are people who are discussing and distributing, no doubt. But how many people will hear? That is the question. Because they are, no doubt, they are all pious. Here also, we see there are so many pious people living in good bungalows and this and that. But who has the time to hear about God? So we can just compare and contrast and see that how here the opulent people, they are not able to hear about Krishna, they are busy doing sense gratification. So what talk about there, where, and here at least, when there is some pain in the body, the person will remember Krishna. When the doctor says, हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, अभी सिर्फ भगवान ही बचा सकते, at least they go at that time to temple. There is no question of death, there is no question of disease, old age. Oh, it's like horrible situation, horrible. The person has to be really very strong to practice bhakti there, very, very strong. Otherwise, at least a person like me cannot practice bhakti there. Just go behind some Ramba or Vashi or something. So let's enjoy my life. Yeah. See, affinity, tell me, all of us also we have some affinity, no? For Krishna consciousness. But we also get allured so badly. Bharat Maharaj back home. आप लोग सोचिए
We heard like lecture like it's not possible in that material platform.
we have
But you have to be take the bath only this material platform. Then only it's possible to doing the devotional service. From here to you have to go to back to.
so the demigods, I think fifth canto they're praying, if I'm not wrong, it will come, where they're praying that if at all any punya remains in our account, then please give us birth in Bharatvarsha, because there we can practice bhakti nicely. But it is very much known that bhakti can be practiced anywhere and we can perfect our life. So even there, the opportunity is there. It's not that opportunity is not there. But to practice bhakti is very difficult. With some dukkha should be there. No, then the remembrance of the Lord that comes. Only sukha is very difficult to remember the Lord. Yeah. He went back. Many examples are there like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for nicely analyzing and telling us the sloka, how to understand Krishna Tattvataha. It's very bewildering to understand the Lord's pastimes. So sometimes he manifests the gross things, think that he is also a normal person. Sometimes he doesn't manifest. It is up to he's a Swarat. So it's very difficult to understand Krishna. And also he gave a nice hope where Prabhupada mentioning the purport, speaking only about Krishna and having prasadam only, so we can get perfect to understand Krishna. So there's a little hope is there. Thank you, Ruchi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one I like it, that point you were telling about Lord bewilders non-devotees and devotees separates, because Lord's pastime is like that. So that's why his pastime is like he was passing stool and urine. He was left in the taken human body like that, and Krishna left. How Krishna left his body? Like some people says Krishna left his body because of some one. Archer hit the hunter hit the leg, and he was leave with his body like that. This is normal people couldn't understand this, thinking there.
Some would say that he was Vali because Krishna he hit Vali. Sorry, Lord Ram hit Vali hiding. So like that, karma comes back. So your hunter was hiding and he hit Krishna.
This is how Krishna dividing his non-devotees and devotees, and materialistic and devotees. This is how. This is my point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Here you mentioned this very nice point that Lord will manifest anything whenever He wants. Like in these pastimes, He manifests blood when He wants. So it's not necessary that he actually got hurt or something because he has a spiritual body, but he'll do pastimes just to please the devotees. Hare
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। हाँ प्रभु जी, अब बताइए कि कैसे भगवान जो कभी भी जो उनका जो चाहिए वो कर सकते हैं और उनके लिए कोई रूल्स नहीं है। और एक बताइए कि हम किसी से बात कर रहे हैं तो हमको सोच के बात करना चाहिए कि हम क्या बोल रहे हैं, बोल के मेडिटेशन मतलब ये भगवान के बारे में बोल रहे हैं या मटेरियलिस्टिक के बारे में बोल रहे हैं, वो हमेशा सोच के बोलना चाहिए।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, like you told, reciprocation of Lord Krishna to Bhishma there. So, how he meditated on the form of Lord Krishna when he was getting down from the chariot, and like you also mentioned that having strict prasadam, one should never have like anything other than like prasadam. And you also told like Prabhupada's story where his disciples said like stool and you like both are Brahman, and Prabhupada said like I like this and humility of Prabhupada I can see also. He asked sorry for those guys who were saying, and he appreciated his disciple, encouraged, like I can see his humility also there. So there are many points to say, but thanks. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So in this class, you mentioned that Krishna is Swarat. He is independent, and whenever he wants, wherever he wants, he manifests. So but it is bewildering for us. But and also you and this point you mentioned, and then you mentioned that from our side we can endeavor to practice Krishna consciousness very very nicely, solidly, by accepting only prasad and only speaking about Krishna. So when we do that, then because it's not in our capacity that we can understand Krishna, but Krishna will be pleased and he will reveal because he is Swarat. So from our side, we can just endeavor solidly, and then Krishna can reveal himself, and then our Sambandha Gyan can become strong. Hare Krishna.
Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Prabhupada ki,